All right, all right. So, fun fact, at the last Creator Week, which was the first Creator Week, we sat down and talked. I think he'd been working at Snap for like a week, right? Something like that. And they threw him to the wolves to me, so, and it was awesome. So I'm actually really happy 18 months later to be like, all right, so what's it been like the last 18 months at Snap?
So firstly, always good to speak with you, Jim. Good to be back, and very nice to be here. I've been watching all the sessions. It's been great fun. So yeah, I mean, it was a weekend then, but it's 18 months here, and I'm loving it. I think it's been good, busy, and the platform's grown rapidly, and I think the team and I have been able to shape some of the vision we had. So it's exciting times for the company globally and also in India.
Absolutely, like 930 million people globally, which is incredible.
Yeah.
When are you going to get to 1 billion?
Well, soon. I don't want to put a date to it, but I'm sure it's going to be soon, and we are really excited about it. Yeah, it's in a good place, yeah.
And you guys still seem to have remained a solid Gen Z sort of platform and really super serving that demographic. What makes them different in how they create, how they communicate, how they connect with each other?
I think Gen Zs are very, very different, and I think the first and the most important way they're different, Jim, is on what they value, right? They value trust and authenticity a lot more. We've done a lot of studies on Gen Zs. Just as a stat, 90% of our Snapchatters in India are between 13 and 34 years, right? So we see how they behave. They value trends over brands. It really matters what their inner circle is. So they listen to the friends and family. Creators are the new search, if you ask me, right? And they do what I call shopsalize, right? We did a study. Shopsalize. I love that. We did a study with BCG in India, and that study threw this up, which is that shopping is a social experience for these people, right? This audience and these Gen Z users exchange pictures, let's say, from their shopping spree, right? They have an omni-channel shopping experience. They're not only going online. They're going online, then they're going offline, then they're going back online, then they're sharing pictures with their close friends before they go and buy something. So everywhere you look, how they behave and what their value is different. And I think that's what's exciting to see, and it's also exciting because I think Snapchat sits beautifully on top of what's changing.
Now, you spend most of your time thinking about India and Southeast Asia, but you also are at Snap, and it's a global company. It's strong in many parts of the world. Do you see the Gen Z characteristics being relatively the same around the world, or are they different in different parts of the world?
That's a fantastic question. I would say what changes is the vibe and the culture. That's where Gen Zs may obviously the culture shows up very strongly with them, but I think there are some fundamental tenets that don't change, right? I think the focus on authenticity and trust, the focus on friends and family, the focus on really looking at what's trendy. I think those are universal behaviors. And of course, creators. I mean, we have creators here from all parts of the world. I've met some amazing creators from Brazil and from America. And so I really think that some of those universal things don't change. But what changes is how culture connects with them and what the vibe is. I like to say Snap is a global DNA with a local soul, right? And I think that's what we see with Gen Zs as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Some of the things that you talked about, I see in the US, for example, and wanting to focus on trust and moving from, we talked about this yesterday, right? Moving from attention to trust and to intimacy and smaller groups of people that are connected, people that are just like you, that you look at because you can relate to them versus the fact that they're famous or they may be on a pedestal or have a great education. And that feels like the trends that we're seeing with Gen Z kind of come back around to what Snap has already and always been doing.
I couldn't say it better. I think we are sitting on a mega trend, which is, look, the company was formed with privacy at its heart and with chat in its name, right? So it's always been about connecting with your friends and family and having a chat with them, messaging them, having fun with them, sharing your everyday moments. So I think the way Snapchat was designed and the way it was thought of by Evan and Bobby was really about connecting with friends and making messaging a core part of the experience. And as you connect with friends, you start using music, start using video, start using AR. So it's all in service of that moment And it's all in service of you enjoying yourself and having a nice chilled out time.
And extremely innovative too. I mean, I was laughing yesterday, I put up that picture of your CEO and his job description saying he's had a product from Meta, but it's true, the things that are innovative and innovate on Snap end up inside TikTok, inside Meta, inside YouTube. What's it like thinking and being part of an organization where you're setting the direction rather than having to react to it?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to say the least. We invented stories. We launched ephemeral messaging. We as a company believed a decade back that messaging should be how real life is, which is if you and I are speaking, we don't record our conversation. I know this one is probably getting recorded, but in general, we just, it lives in our memories, and we connect as friends in the moment, right? So whether it's ephemeral messaging or it's stories or the work we've done on the camera, we're working on the specs. It's the 5th generation. We've been on the camera for a long time. It's not the new thing for us. And we're excited about what we'll do with it next year when we bring it to consumers. So as a company, innovation runs in our ethos. We've gone out there and built a product which opens in the camera, Jim. We've spoken about it so many times. We do not open in the feed. We open in the camera. The first thing you see is the world or yourself, right? So I think these are design choices, which tells you that we want to really make a world and make a platform where people feel safe and happy and joyful. And if they want to, they can be a creator. We're not trying to follow the crowd.
Yeah, not afraid to take risks, although I am glad that the round photo format did not take off. Remember that in the early spectacles? I was like, what are we going to do with that? All right, so let's move on and talk a little bit about India, because you're very focused on India. 250 million plus monthly users. How has that growth been over, what percentage of Gen Z in India is on Snap?
Well, I think India has 400 million Gen Zs in total. 90% of Snapchatters are under 34.
So you want me to do some math here? I'd say about
you could do the
65%
math.
or so. Okay.
That's pretty large, yeah.
So tell me about Creator Connect. What's that? Something you've been working on to start working with smaller people in smaller towns.
Yeah, well, it's really important, like you said. I mean, India is a large country, right? 1.4 billion people, many, many languages. And if we want to connect and grow the ecosystem for creators on Snapchat, we have to go beyond the big cities, right? So Creator Connect is exactly what it is, which is you go out there, you connect with creators in these smaller cities who speak different languages. They might be doing different genres or multiple genres. But the idea is, how do you empower the micro, nano community of creators? How do you make them come to a platform that's really not about going viral or being performative? It's really pressure-free. It's about starting a creator journey in a way that they feel safe and happy. And then, of course, if some of them will go on to become bigger creators and build community. So I think it's about connecting with creators all across the country. And I'm happy to report that we've done a whole bunch of these things. And it's really exciting to see India has 4 million creators and counting and growing rapidly. So India is a creator nation. And I feel we're in a good place there when we do things like Connect.
And kind of authenticated by Unilever, right? The new CEO came in and said, I'm going to spend 50% of my budget on social and on creators, and really focused on, say, like in India, wants a creator in every single town to be part of their overall global creator organization. And that's got to tie into everything you're doing, going into all these smaller towns. And how do you think Unilever's going to do that? How are they going to bring all those creators together, all those nano creators, in a way that kind of stacks them on top of each other to create enough value for the brand?
Well, I'll give you an example, and Unilever does do a lot of work with us already, but we just launched a beauty incubator with Nykaa.
Okay.
Nykaa is easily India's top beauty marketplace and brand, and the idea is really to say, can we find the next generation of beauty creators, and we will work with Nykaa to really give them education, platform understanding. We call it Snap Schools. So we'll do Snap Schools. We'll make sure they understand how to grow a community. And in the same time, also, hopefully, some of them will go on to become Snap Stars, who are our biggest creators. So the idea really is not just to say, hey, can I just do branded content? Can this creator do a piece of video for me? It's about how do you build programs where you connect and sort of really make meaningful connections with creators, because meaningful connections with creators leads to meaningful audience conversations, right? So the incubator program is one such move. So when we work with brands in India, it's not just about using our ad stack or making sure that they use things like sponsored Snap, which is very exciting, right? And creators could send sponsored Snap on behalf of brands. But it's also about saying, hey, can I tap into creators in an always-on way? Can we have an organic relationship with creators? I think brands that understand understand that, work more closely with us, and we are happy to shape and help that process whichever way we can.
I want to talk a little bit about Snap School. Anybody here been through Snap School? So I have. It's really, really cool. So Brooke Berry, who started it, used to work for me at VidCon. It's
Brooke's
amazing.
amazing.
Brooke's amazing. Started Snap School. How many instructors in Snap School do you have out there in the world now?
Well, we don't break out that number, but I can tell you that the idea really is to scale Snap Schools, not just on ground, but we also do virtual Snap
It's
Schools.
not just Brooke, right? I know she's
Brooke.
been going all over the place.
I've been doing Snap Schools. My team does a much better job of doing Snap Schools than I do, but we do virtual Snap Schools too. So we want to make sure that Snap School in whichever form is available and accessible to creators as easily as possible. And really just to get the journey going, and Snapchat Creator Connect is, in my view, a form of Snap Schools, because it's really about going to a small town and saying, hey, don't worry, here's how you start, here's how you grow, and we're here to help you.
Yeah, if you haven't been through a Snap School, you should. It's super interesting.
Brooke is amazing.
Brooke's
She's
the best. You get
Snap
Brooke
School.
to do it, it's going to be awesome.
Best Snap School teacher out there.
Let's move a little bit into AR, because you're also spending a lot of time on AR. And I was struck by I was reading about this morning, this new technology where they've got a pixel density that they're doing that is so small that matches the pixel density of your eyes at very low power with no light. I mean, I'm sure it'll show up in the Snap spectacles first. But what's going on with AR? You guys keep plugging away at it. It sort of comes in and out of favor. Where are we now and where's it going?
Oh, we open in the camera, Jim, like I've always said, and when you open in the camera, you have a whole tray of amazing AR lenses, right? So AR has been core to our DNA. Again, to your first question about what Gen Z's value, visual storytelling is so important to them, right? And AR is so fundamental to visual storytelling. Even when they're chatting with friends, the usual default is, the previous generations might text. These guys don't text, right? They would just use an amazing visual to communicate how they're feeling. So AR has always been central. The numbers speak for themselves. 350 million people use AR on Snapchat every day, right? So, and India is obviously a global AR engine. We are one of the biggest developer markets in the world. My team works very closely to grow that ecosystem, and we produce the maximum amount of lenses in the world. So India really is core to Snap's AR strategy, but AR is core to Snap's global strategy. We are seeing a huge amount of change with AR. We've gone a long way from the rainbow vomit and the dog ears. Today, gaming and e-commerce and specs and what have you. So AR today is no more just about the funny face. I think there's a lot of utility, there's a lot of commerce that's happening. So our focus in India is to grow that ecosystem and find the right developers and make it easy for them.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about technology and where it's going, because I was talking about Sora 2 yesterday and how Sora 2 puts you into the videos that you make, which you guys have been doing all along with some of the AR things and other things like that. I see a world where Snap really innovates in helping its users and its creators put themselves into really different worlds, fantastic worlds with each other and things that don't exist in real life through AI. Is that a place where you think Snap has a future? I know you can't reveal anything that you're building, but does that make sense? Like I think about Bitmoji when you guys initially did the Bitmoji stuff. It's kind of on a straight line to that, right?
Absolutely, which is, by the way, Bitmoji is another sort of way to understand why we've been innovating, right? It's something we've invested in for a while. Look, Gen AI and AR are obviously very critical components of where we see value for users, right? And we build Gen AI quite centrally into our platform. We have a whole Gen AI suite on Lens Studio, which is really our platform for developers to start their journey. It's amazing. You should try Easy Lens on Lens Studio. You can prompt your way to any lens. And I've done it, and I'm far from being a developer. But I can tell you, our job is really to reduce the friction of creating AR lenses. It should be as easy as possible, and it should really be as expressive as possible, right? So we're investing on both ends of that. At the same time, on the user side, you have something like an Imagine Lens, right? Where you can literally transform a picture. So I think AI is quite central in every aspect, both from the user lens as well as from the developer lens. And we'll continue to invest in that. So it seems exciting.
Yeah, and keep on thinking of it the way you do, as a community way to connect people together, not necessarily a way to go broad as a broad media experience. benefits?
Yeah, look, I mean, AI has obviously a productivity upside. The first thing that it is doing and should do is making the job of content creation easier, right? But I think it's also about helping people imagine and innovate. It's not just about doing things faster, it's also about doing things better, right? And for example, when you use the Gen AI suite, it really makes asset creation easy, right? So as a developer, it's a life-changing thing because it really helps you focus on the core idea as opposed to probably struggling with a whole bunch of things that you would have done it in the past. So that's what our job is. Our job is to make sure the developer journey is easy, and we want to make sure we create the same magic with users as we have for the past decade. And you know, Jim, you've been using Snap, I know you do, and the magic of AR is that it just brings a smile to your face. I think,
oh, yeah.
you know, it's just amazing. It's the best way to connect with friends.
Fun.
It is fun, absolutely. And you know, I love this, I love to quote this, and since I'm kind of segueing into that. A bunch of studies, one research that we did, 90% people said they felt joy and happiness when they use Snapchat. And I think that's really important to underscore. This is a platform which is about being pressure-free, being yourself. It opens into the camera. It's not asking you to scroll on a feed. And most importantly, you feel a sense of joy when you play with those lenses. And then you chat with friends. So it's really, even as a creator, the core idea is, can you be your real self? This is not about your perfect grid. It's not about going viral. It's really just about being yourself and connecting with your fans in a more real way. That's what Snapchat is about.
Yeah, it's nice to see a platform that doesn't make you depressed or feel like you have to just keep feeding the content monster. In the couple minutes we have left, you guys have really owned Gen Z in many ways and captured that generation. Now we're seeing Gen Alpha come up, and very different in many ways. How is Snap evolving, and what do you think about how Gen Alpha will change the way that Snap looks and the way that we perceive social or communication media?
Yeah, look, I think some of the trends that I was speaking about, visual storytelling, authenticity, and trust, I think those are universal trends in the world. I don't think they're necessarily only about a demo. So I think we sit well on some of those fundamental truths. I will also say, Jim, that Gen Z is a pretty wide demo, right? Yeah. There are Gen Zs who are 13, 14, and there are Gen Zs who are 28. They're going to high school, they're going to college, and some of them are going into jobs or starting businesses. So I do feel that there is perhaps another decade or two of a lot of value that will come from the Gen Zs, both as consumers, but also as drivers of the economy. Again, the research work we've done in India points very clearly to a large amount of purchasing power and economic value is going to be created by Gen Zs, not just in categories like beauty or travel, but across product categories, right? So advertisers have understood the value of this base, right? So I do feel there's a huge runway and there's a lot to play out. So I don't think there is fundamentally an aging risk, if I may say so, to your question. And more importantly, I think there are some universal truths about how the world is changing. And I feel Snapchat sits very beautifully on those truths.
All right, what's your favorite Snap lens? What do you use?
Oh, well, there's the chicken scream one. Oh, man. I mean, that's the one that, I love it personally. There are a whole bunch, to be honest, but the chicken scream one comes to my mind. You guys should play it. If that doesn't make you smile, I don't know what will.
All right, so Snap, making you smile with chicken screams. Why not, right? Yeah. Well done, Saket. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Give it up for Saket Saurabh from
Thank you, guys.
Snap. Nicely done.
Yeah.
And thank you very much.